Hi and welcome to my channel. In the lead into Valentine's Day this year, today is February 1st, 2025. In the lead into Valentine's Day, which is the 14th of February, obviously, this year, I am doing a series of readings which I am titling Adam and Eve in Legoland. These readings were born from a trip that I had to make to the Apple store a couple of days ago. And on my way there, I passed the Lego store and I was intuitively drawn in. And when I went in there, I started to get all of these downloads. And over the past couple of days, I've come and I've done readings on all of these messages that I had coming through. When you think about Lego, it's about building a relationship that you are building. These are soulmate readings. They are love readings, a collection of love readings, which will all be housed in this playlist, Adam and Eve in Legoland. Why Adam and Eve? Because I was getting the story of Wally and Eve from the movie Wally, and a lot of the other messages that were coming through, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the apple. A lot of the other messages that were coming through tied back to previous messages that I have been getting about divine couples with specific reference to Adam and Eve, and how the connection between the two drew one or the other out of a comfort zone and towards each other. So if you want the full crux of this story and the full story of my trip into the Lego store, make sure you watch reading 1. As I said, the link to them will be in the description box. But this intro, as I mentioned, will be used across all of the readings. So hopefully there will be some information in these readings for you. If you are currently in a soulmate journey with somebody and you're wanting to delve a little deeper into it, specifically a soulmate connection where you are in separation, or where there are hidden feelings as in Wally and Eve, or where there is something that is actually separating a connection, physically, mentally, financially, some sort of separation. So if that's something that interests you, I will see you in your reading. Hi and welcome to this final reading in the series of readings that I'm doing in the lead into Valentine's Day. Now, as I said in the intro, all these readings are timeless, so whenever you stumble across them, you're meant to find it. But this one is particularly special because it actually unintentionally folds in all of the information that's been coming through, and there are many synchronicities in this reading, starting with the original reason that I started doing these particular readings in the lead into Valentine's Day. I was picking up the themes, as I said in the intro, of Adam and Eve, this dual 7 number, which was coming through in Snow White, also coming through in Wally. Wally had been on the earth before Eve, as in Adam and Eve, before Eve arrived 700 years later. Obviously, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's a 7 in there too, and through the love stories that present or have been presenting across many readings that I've done over the past 18 months, 2 years. This repeating 7 number, it comes through in the big love stories that are in and around the Pluto and Aquarius transit, which is the 20-year transit that we literally have just gone into, and it's this repeating 7s. 7 in itself is a divine number. It can be seen in biblical stories. For example, the story of Jacob and Rachel. He was contracted for 7 years, promised marriage, contracted for 7 years and tricked, and then ended up having to work for another 7 years in order to marry her. We had the 7 theme in a reading a couple of readings ago where we had Captain America separated, so a past life love story, separated from his partner or the woman that he loved for 70 years, getting a do-over in this particular lifetime. And the energy I'm picking up on in this reading is of a couple due to come into union in this lifetime, but in a previous lifetime there was a link to justice. They weren't a couple, they were just 2 individuals, part of 2 groups of people that were connected through a fateful event that involved a sacrifice that was made. And all yesterday, I just kept hearing Lost and Found, and then I was hearing Paradise Found, which is actually a song from the movie Up. The reason that I was hearing it was because originally I had lost my Apple Pen, which is a pen that I use to digitally illustrate my drawings, and I'd lost it. So I headed into the Apple store to basically buy another one. And on the way in there, I passed the Lego store and was drawn in and got all of these intuitive downloads. So after a week and a half of not having this pen, after I'd bought a new one, I found it. It wasn't lost at all. It had gone full circle. There's a relationship that is coming full circle after a sacrifice was made in a previous lifetime, and somebody within the connection was trying to seek some sort of justice for it in a previous lifetime. And I almost want to say, because we have that 7/7, that maybe there's been an injustice in this lifetime, as in somebody has been sacrificed in this lifetime, and now it's the other party's turn to bring in the justice. Now, justice is number 11. It's Libra and it's Venus. I'm going to pop that card there. I'm going to get, before I go into all of the details, because this one's fairly in-depth, I'm going to get an angel. What angel is Harmony and Mercy? 32. What angel is watching over this connection? 3 and 2 is 5, which is change. Wow, that's the star. That's the star card in tarot, which is Aquarius energy. We've just gone into the Pluto and Aquarius transit, and that's beautiful because it aligns with all the other messages that are coming through. And look at this, number 70, a spiritual journey. That's the Hermit card, which is Virgo. So we have justice, which is Libra and Venus. We have Aquarius energy, and then we have Virgo energy. That's a spiritual journey. And that particular card aligns with Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And if you think about the original story of Adam and Eve, that story comes from Genesis, the book of Genesis. That's beautiful. I haven't done this for the other readings, but I'm going to pull out the dates that these particular angels align with. Soul Guardian for those born 11 p.m. to 11:20 p.m. Moral Guardian for those born the 28th of May, the 8th of August, the 19th of October, the 30th of December, and the 12th of March. And the Physical Guardian for those born the 28th of February to the 4th of March. And this angel. Those born under this angel have good memories and speak eloquently and will be amiable, spiritual, and modest. This angel protects against those who would make attacks in court. Justice. Rules over justice and influences mobility, legal executives, magistrates, and attorneys. How beautiful is that? Soul Guardian for those born 10:20 a.m. to 10:40 a.m. Moral Guardian for those born the 20th of April, the 1st of July, the 11th of September, the 22nd of November, and the 2nd of February. And the Physical Guardian for those born from the 22nd to the 26th of August. So let me give you the background of this reading. Yesterday morning, I was pulling in the energy. I kept thinking about the Titanic. There's an exhibition on in the city that I live in at the moment, and it is a walkthrough exhibition of the story of the Titanic, and it's got memorabilia from the ship, and it was actually really, really interesting. It was actually fairly confronting, if I'm really honest, but my daughter and I went into the city to see it. And some things really struck out at me. One of which was I had actually been, because, you know, all of these are surrounding the Lego store. All of these had stories that have been coming through about past life relationships. And I'd been looking at the Titanic, which is basically a big Lego, you can basically buy the Titanic as a Lego set and build it. It's $999. This year is the 999 portal, which is completion. There's something in this relationship, a past life connection with somebody, not in a romantic sense, that is coming back in a romantic sense in this lifetime. And it revolves around justice, some sort of spiritual journey, justice. I'm going to give you the songs that I was getting. I do a random shuffle. I got Country Roads, so something familiar. Country Roads, Take Me Home. You Are the Reason by Callum Scott, meaning the North Star. I got Lights by BTS. I got Wake Me Up by Avicii. And I got First Man by Camila Cabello. Now within this exhibition, there was lots of information. There was between 1,490 to 1,600 people on board. 1,500 of them died, but they played homage to certain stories. There was a story about a young girl who was 7 when she got on the Titanic with her parents, and her name was Eva Hart. And then there was a story about the band, 8 members in the band, and you hear all the stories about, as the Titanic went down, the band was playing. There were a lot of immigrants on the Titanic, and there were a lot of people with this star card here, and it was called White Star Lines. That was the company. So again, that star reference again. There were a lot of people on the boat that weren't meant to be there. At the time the Titanic sailed, and I'm just giving you a story because it's the energy that's coming through. There were a lot of people who weren't meant to be on that boat. There was a coal shortage at the time, and White Star Lines had 4 or 5 ships that were meant to sail, and there was huge interest with the Titanic sailing because it was her maiden voyage, but they hadn't sold all the tickets. In fact, they hadn't sold as many. I don't think they'd even sold half the tickets. And so in an attempt to get more people on board the Titanic, they took all the coal from the other ships, which basically forced all the passengers from the other ships onto the Titanic, which meant they sailed with a full ship. So something in a past life connection with your person where basically fate stepped in. Now, Eva Hart and her family, her mother and her father, weren't meant to be on that boat. They were actually booked on another boat, and purely because something had happened, somebody else had stepped in, they ended up being on the Titanic. As I said, she was 7. She was born the 31st of January 1905, 7 years old. She ended up on lifeboat 14 with her mother, and her father passed away, but she and her mother survived. But that 14, we've got 2 sevens, 7, 7, and she was 7 years old. Now, she worked for her entire life as a magistrate. And there's actually many, you can just type her name in, Eva Hart, on YouTube, and it will bring up the story of her life. She was an advocate. Now, the 31st of January means she was an Aquarius. She was an advocate. We're about to go into, or we are into, the next 20 years of Pluto and Aquarius. It's a revolutionary change. It's justice. It's the star card. Because what ultimately happened was all of the people on the Titanic, and this could be your story, the majority of the people on the Titanic, from a passenger perspective, that perished, were all people, they were immigrants, and they were moving from one place to another for a better life. Out of the 1,500 people that died, there was over 750 crew that perished. And one thing that actually really blew my mind was within the exhibition, it stated that their wage was to get from Ireland to America, but they were only paid up until the night the ship went down. And then any family that wanted to collect any personal belongings from anybody that had passed away and had been found actually had to pay, it was almost the equivalent of $1,000. So huge injustices, and huge injustices that I'm picking up on in this previous past life story that you have. And as I said, it's not a romantic relationship, it's a past life story. One thing with Eva, her name was Eva, and again, a lot of these 7 synchronicities coming through. If I think of Eva, I think of Eva from Wally and Eve, or Eva. I think of Adam and Eve. Now her surname was Hart. Hart means bear. The compass on the ship in those days, that basically the compass is going off the North Star, which is Stella Maris, the star of the sea. And what surrounds the North Star is Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, which have both got seven, both got 7 stars within them. As I said, she was 7 years old, and she actually died in 1996 on the 14th of February. Again, 7, 7. 2 sevens are 14. Which is, this is the final reading. This will go up actually on Valentine's Day itself. The energy I'm picking up on from this past life relationship that you've had with somebody. Now, it could be just somebody else in the vicinity. I mean, she was, part of her story is that she was the witness, or one of the people who witnessed, and in her testimony she says that she was wide awake when the ship went down. She saw it split in half, and she heard the band playing. And I'm going to get the song because I wrote it down. She said, "I never closed my eyes. I didn't sleep at all. I saw it, I heard it, and nobody could possibly forget it. I can remember the colours, the sounds, the everything." That was what I was talking about in the star card. The worst thing I can remember are the screams. It seemed as if once everybody had gone, drowned, finished, the whole world was standing still. There was nothing, just this deathly, terrible silence in the dark, with the stars overhead. She recalled hearing the ship's band playing, "Nearer, my God, to thee," as the ship succumbed to the ocean. Now, she was one of the people who was adamant that the boat had split in two, and she was heavily criticised for that until they discovered the wreckage of the Titanic and realised that it had split in two. She was a witness. She was a witness because what she was actually talking about was what she had witnessed. She had witnessed the men, these 8 men in this band that were there to play for the first class passengers. She had witnessed their death, their sacrifice. If we're thinking about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, she had witnessed their sacrifice at the hands of, I want to say, the ignorance of the captain. And there was 8 of them in the band, and her whole life was spent in the justice system because of what she had witnessed. I am your witness. Because of what she had witnessed on the Titanic. The lives that were lost, the families that were lost, the lack of lifeboats. This theme is what's coming through from past life. Now, you don't have to necessarily be on Titanic, but there's something about a past life and Aquarius, because Aquarius is the humanitarian. It's we before I. And I just heard the pen is mightier than the sword. She spent her whole life being an advocate because she witnessed what had happened. Now, potentially in this lifetime, there's some sort of component here where maybe the roles will change, and the person that you acted as a witness for, as an advocate for in a past life, will actually be a witness for you, an advocate for you in this lifetime. It's that flip. So as I said, Eva means the first one. Heart means bear. Esther, her mother, that means star. Now, her mother had a premonition that the boat was going to sink. I've also been looking at the Gematria code, which is essentially how you can use the letters in words to calculate an alphanumeric value. So if you look at, say, a thesaurus, and you put a word in, and it'll bring up all the other words that mean the same. Well, a Gematria calculator puts in, and it was first used in Hebrew text, and then it's also used in simple Gematria, so normal alphabet, but each letter has a number, which means that the cumulative value of a word, numerical value of a word, then aligns with other words. that have the same value. So I actually put in Lego because all these readings have been because of a trip into the Lego store. In Hebrew, it's Selene, which is moon, or koala. Heart is a bear, a koala bear. In simple gematria, Lego is angel, candle, or Magdala, which is Mary Magdalene. I also put in Titanic. 262 is the Hebrew gematria, triangle, snake bite, sacrifice. And in simple gematria, it's revenge and vault. Do you think of all those people under the sea? There's lots and lots of synchronicities. And if you're picking up on energy from what you imagine is a previous past life, look into it deeper. For example, there was a huge eclipse between Jupiter and Neptune. Neptune is the ocean and Jupiter is luck. Huge eclipse prior to the sinking of the Titanic. Jupiter is expanse, the expansive ocean. Where did they end up? At the bottom of the expansive ocean. Mercury was conjunct Saturn on the day that the ship launched. When the Titanic, the movie, won all of the awards at the Oscars, Mercury was also conjunct Saturn. This whole reading is this journey of these two souls, or groups of souls. You know, if we're thinking about the band's connection with this little girl, this little 7-year-old girl, and what she actually did by saying the band was still playing that song. Now that song, actually a song about Jacob, as in Jacob and Rachel, as in the 7-7 reference that I gave before. It's about when Jacob had a dream about angels going up and down into heaven, that stairway to heaven. Again, that 7 reference. It's like, the more I look into this, and part of a spiritual journey that you are on, I looked into the Titanic probably 2 years ago, and I knew all of this information except all of the added in synchronicities that I have woven in and through in my spiritual journey over the last 2 years. You may be at a point in a connection with somebody where you're starting to realize how your stories have been woven over lifetimes. Like I said, she was the witness of that band's sacrifice. She witnessed them going down with the ship. And as I said, as that ship's going down, if there's staff on the ship, their pay would have stopped that night. Okay, let's get some cards. New connection. There's a new connection coming in this lifetime, and it's romantic. The energy around this connection, the 8 of Pentacles. That's the Sun in Virgo. The 2 of Swords, which is the Moon in Libra. That's what's happening in the 3D. And we've got the Moon, which is Pisces and Neptune. What that is giving to me is the 8 of Pentacles. That's the hard work. This is the band. The 2 of Swords. The journey that little girl went on, bringing in justice for those lives that she witnessed. The Moon is hidden. And it was hidden because that ship wasn't, I think she died when she was 91 in 1996. I'm not sure when the Titanic was. Let me have a look. How long had she been advocating? September the 1st, 1985. 80 years. When she was 80 years old. Interesting. This is the message from the man upstairs, the King of Pentacles. advocating for the injustice. I just heard for the people that were asleep at the wheel. The Four of Swords. Oh, and on the bottom we've got the Star again. Advocating for those who would put, and it's so Aquarius. What I'm getting here is the energy of what one person in this connection did in a past life. They spent their lifetime advocating in the memory of the other person, and whatever sacrifice that person had to make. And it could be war, it could be some sort of accident, at the hands of people who would put finance first, is what I want to say there. Okay. This reading might be a little longer than the other ones, but yeah. Saturn in Capricorn, Nine of Pentacles. That is hard work. Slow journey, Six of Swords. Victory after a long battle is the Six of Wands. Jupiter in Leo. The Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius and Saturn in Capricorn. Battling for the memory of the people. Let's see what else. Queen of Pentacles. I don't think she married, actually. And the King of Pentacles. I think her life's mission was that. And the Moon. Her life's mission was bringing justice, illuminating the truth. 10 of Wands, about something that happened, some sacrifice that was made in a past life. King of Pentacles. I'm gonna do another reading over the top of this, because this is clearly picking up past life energy. New beginning. And the Lovers. New beginning for me is, I mean, the Titanic was on a maiden voyage, right? The choice that somebody made, in whatever connection this is, the choice that somebody made based on money to change the fate of all the souls. The Lovers card is the choice card. To change the fate of all the souls. Four of Swords. And he looks like he's asleep. It was, I think, 11:40 at night. 10 of Swords. Their fate was sealed. The Queen of Wands. Because of, I want to say the arrogance, the Five of Pentacles. Their fate was sealed. Okay. Right, this is past. Let's have a look at future. What is this connection that's coming in? Tell me about this connection that's coming in. Nine of Wands. New beginning, new connection, new beginning, death and rebirth. Oh, we got the Star again. This is beautiful. The Queen of Swords and the Ace of Cups. That's beautiful. That's Uranus in Aquarius. The Fool card is Aquarius. Ace of Cups is a brand new gift from God. It's love, a spiritual connection. The Queen of Swords. Uranus in Aquarius. Fated to have a rebirth in this lifetime. And look at that. That's my Jacob and Rachel card. The Seven of Pentacles. Jacob had to work for, he asked Rachel's father for her hand in marriage and was granted it if he worked for 7 years. That's 7 number. She was 7. If he worked for 7 years, on the day of the wedding, the bride was veiled and her father tricked her and Jacob and married Rachel's sister Leah to Jacob. So he then had to work for another 7 years. We're talking lifetimes here. This is a previous lifetime where some Rachel's father was named Laban. Some sort of Laban energy changed the fate of something that was meant to happen. The Knight of Wands. That's somebody coming forward with an offer of love. Karmic completion. The karma has been paid from this previous lifetime. The Death card. Look at that. The Ace of Wands. Fire. That's fire energy. The Ace of Wands and the Sun. A beautiful beginning. The Sun can also be pregnancy. The Emperor. Aries energy. Aries. Somebody stepping forth. You know, and if I go back to the, you know, if somebody was an advocate for, if one person was an advocate for the other in a past life, then maybe in this life, it's the flip of. They are your witness. They are your advocate. Because that person did that in a previous lifetime. That's Saturn in Pisces. The Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is walking away from anything that's toxic. Maybe in this lifetime, one party is attached to something toxic. Attached, look at that, the Hierophant on the bottom. Things that you're attached to, walking away from that to their Nine of Cups. And if you know me, this is annoying me. The King of Swords. That's Uranus in Libra. That gives me, that actually gives me Judge Judy energy. I actually think that this particular couple in this lifetime, the fact that you're coming back through in a Pluto and Aquarius transit, we've got the Justice card here, the Star card. There's something that you're meant to do together, which maybe is humanitarian in nature, maybe brings justice to other people. It's born from something that you either witnessed or experienced in a past life that you were destined to experience, because we've got two Star cards here, that you were destined to experience in a past life. And what it has done is it's planted the seeds, it's fed your soul so that when you actually come together as a couple in this lifetime, you come back as, I want to say, highly elevated souls. Strength. You've either experienced it or witnessed it. And flip, because we've got the 8 here. Flip. In this lifetime. Maybe last time one of you witnessed it, one of you experienced it. This time one of you experienced it, one of you witnesses it. But you're linked in some way. Okay, let's get anything your guides want to tell you about this relationship that's coming back, the life path. As I said, something that you're meant to do together. Why? Because in this life and in past lives, you have experienced heavy burdens, wish fulfillment, which is the Nine of Cups. Hidden things that are done in the dark. You've experienced heavy burdens. The only way out is through. Trapped. That's giving me Titanic. Elevation. Childhood wounds and patterns. Something maybe that you were trapped in. Mastery. And get off the grid, hermit mode, which is that spiritual journey. Oh, look at that, fated. Okay, let's get a moon. This is really cool, this reading. Join the adventure, Cardinal Moon. Blaze those trails like a boss. Something that you're meant to do together. A trail. You're meant to be a trailblazers. Just heard the first wave. South Node, time to ditch the old baggage and soar. The old baggage is the things that have kept you trapped. Mutable moon, where nothing is carved in stone. New moon alert, changes on the horizon. And under the Libra full moon is a double win. 2 people now battling. A mutable moon is where the moon moves from sign to sign every 24 to 48 hours. The mutable moon is where it's not quite left one sign, but it's not in the next. It's almost like that midnight. Is it midnight? You know, is it today or is it tomorrow? Something that's kind of been held up in the air. Once in a blue moon, dare to believe in the impossible. Nodes of Destiny cards. Now, all the cards that I use on my channel are my own designs because I'm also an illustrator. South Node in Cancer. South Node in Cancer, you rock the empathy and compassion game from day one. Your heart beats for family and your roots, making cozy home vibes your jam. It's like your spiritual snuggle blanket, the cozy spot where growth begins by letting go. So it's a stepping out of your comfort zone. South Node, there's lots of releasing going on here. South Node, South Node, South Node. Your South Node is like a blast from the past, packed with old vibes, emotions, and connections from your previous lives. It's the cosmic energy we're learning to bid farewell to in this lifetime, breaking free from the karma of yesteryears. Think of it as our cozy spiritual nook, something that we need to bid adieu to in order to blossom into our best selves. Now, it's funny actually because I said to my daughter when we walked out of the Titanic exhibition, I have this feeling that I was on the Titanic. I don't know why, it's just this feeling. And I've got this real thing about pool. I'm a great swimmer. I mean, if you live in Australia, you can swim, right? Babies get taught to swim at 4 months old. And I can swim. I can hold my own. I could sit in the water for an hour and, you know, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's that thought of putting your head under the water. You might have flashbacks of past lives. And maybe part of watching this reading is just connecting. And as I said, it doesn't have to be the Titanic. But like me, you might have been drawn to a particular exhibition, or you might be reading a book, or there are things in your life that your guides will draw you to, and it's because you're meant to collect and pick up the energy of something that you've done in the past, because there's something about it that's meant to be used within a relationship that you are going to be in this lifetime. Let's get some songs for this connection, this fated connection. 3 star cards we've had. Well, we've had 1, 2, 3, because that's a star card, and fated. 1,000 years, Christina Perry. One step closer, I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I've loved you for 1,000 more. Time has brought your heart to me. As I said, Eva Hart and her family didn't book a ticket on the Titanic, but she was intricately connected to the band because she witnessed their sacrifice. Time has brought your heart to me. Purple Rain, Prince. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted one time to see you laughing. I only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain. Let's get it on. Maybe the lifetime. Where you come together as a couple. Okay, let's get some messages from your person in this lifetime. I'm feeling lost and lonely. I sabotage this because of fear. I just want the best possible outcome for everyone. Love is the greatest healer. And I'm making plans. Give me a second. I just want to check something. Yeah, I thought so. I'm feeling lost and lonely. So Eva Hart, because of what she experienced on the Titanic, and after her mother died, obviously her father passed away, but after her mother died, she basically spent her whole life as a magistrate. as an advocate. She didn't marry and she didn't have children. I'm feeling lost and lonely. And if you think about all of those souls that died on that boat, all of the families that lost parents or children or brothers or sisters, and how that must have affected them. And we did have that childhood wounds and patterns. But mastery, some sort of mastery. And perhaps it's a pattern that's come through in this lifetime, that one of you or both of you have had to kick back into that energy to just blow out the last bit of the karma. Breaking bad habits. Maybe you've come into this lifetime with a reluctance to connect. Maybe you are a lone wolf, and it's because you've got this, actually I'm going to leave that. It's because you've got this karma from past life, and you may not have been aware of it. Okay, let's have a look. Scrabble tiles in here, letters and numbers. I will call them both out. Could be your first, middle, last initials or that of your person. Okay, we've got a B and a 3, an A and a 1. I want that one. An F and a 4. An L and a 1, an M and a 3, a C and a 3, a Q and a 10, a W and a 4, a V and a 4, a Z and a 10, a J and an 8, an X and an 8, an I and a 1, an R and a 1, a D and a 2, an E and a 1, a U and a 1. And I don't know if you can hear the dog bowl. That's my dog telling me that it's dinner time. He flips his bowl. There might be a message in that for someone. And an N. Now, what I did see was we have Eva. We also have the band. There might be something in the film, the movie Titanic. I know for me personally, I don't know what it is with Leonardo DiCaprio, but DiCaprio references have been coming through in my life for years and years and years, even to the point where one of the streets that we lived on was DiCaprio, called DiCaprio. There's some sort of past life connection here. Interesting, so interesting. Let's have a look. Emperor. Whoa. Hierophant. Queen of Swords and the Six of Swords and the Queen of Cups. You're being intuitively guided back together. Might have taken a little while. Intuitively guided back together. The Hierophant is a soul contract that you have with the man upstairs. And you can hear him. He's getting huffy. In this lifetime with this person, you are meant to have big love. You are meant to have great love. You are meant to have a relationship that is, you are fated to have a relationship where you draw on the strength of each other from your experience in this life and in past life, and help to guide other people, help to be an advocate for other people. So beautiful. Is there anything else that I want to get you? I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining me for these readings. Actually, I want to get a star card. A star card. I want to get a star card. I want to get an angel card. 45, 9. this year is the number 9. Motivation and willpower. That's the 6 of Cups. I knew I wanted to get a card, an angel card. The 6 of Cups is a relationship returning, a past life relationship returning in this lifetime. How beautiful. Okay, that's what I've got for you. Thanks so much for joining me. If this reading resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you are called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thanks again, and I will see you again in another reading.